I introduce you with Olaf again. Olaf has 30 years of experience in the technical industry, and during this area, he remained development team lead, practical daily developer. Currently, he's code coach, and he helps you become master software engineer. And he has a great experience in the industry. And today I invited him again to join me on my session on the importance of clean architecture. So I'm so glad that I have Olaf with us today. And first of all, I would welcome you, Olaf. Thank you so much for your precious time. You came to join me on the podcast session and help community and share your knowledge and to be everyone to be a better person. If you share your knowledge, every one of us be a better programmer, be a better architecture. So welcome you Olaf, and thank you for joining me.
Hi, Maria. Thank you very much for having me. I am honored to be again on your podcast.
Thank you very much, Olaf. And today's topic is very much very much important in today's era. So most of the people are just aware of the definition of this clean architecture. So you have experience of 30 years in the industry, and I've been working in the industry from past 11 years. So we are the one who have practically done and implemented these architectures. So it's our ethical and moral responsibility to share our knowledge into the community, especially those who are just in the beginning of their career, who have just started their career, who are in the mid level of their career, to help them better understand this clean architecture. So for all the developers, the goal of a good software architecture, is at the end to minimize the human resources that were required to build and maintain the required system. So the quality of the design is very important. Like the measure of design quality is simply the measure of the effort required to meet the needs of the customer. So if the effort is low in whatever you have developed and stays low throughout the lifetime of the system, then your system design is good. And if that effort grows and grows and grows with each new release, then it means your design is bad. It's as simple as that. And today Olaf will be throwing some light on this clean architecture. So I'll be asking you, Olaf, why do you like this clean architecture?
Well, Maria, I'd just like to say that your definition of a good architecture or a useful architecture was beautiful. This idea that it's easy to change and cheaply to change throughout its entire lifetime, which could be from years through decades. When we don't have an architecture, then it becomes harder and harder, and jobs that should take days or maybe weeks take weeks and months and sometimes even years or can't even be done because it's now legacy code and a big ball of mud. Everything's stuck together. What To answer your question, what do I like about clean architecture? Clean architecture outlines to us a schematic of how we should structure our software at the highest level so that we achieve that goal that you have just mentioned, that we can cheaply replace and easily replace entire subsystems. If you no longer like a particular framework, you haven't coupled yourself to it, you can remove it. The framework's been kept at arm's length. And that goes for a database as well. If you no longer find SQL Server is serving you well and now you want to move to Azure Table Storage, okay, cool. You can do that, with relatively easily. If you haven't followed clean architecture or hexagonal architecture or onion architecture, and your SQL Server data access is baked right into your business logic and UI, it's going to become much, much harder.
Exactly. The idea is that if you like, for example, if you today you are working with the SQL databases or Oracle databases, So in the future, you think that your customers are growing, might be you need to change the backend database. So you are not tightly coupled to redesign your application. You are free to change your application. That's basically flexible. That's one reason of choosing the architecture. That's basically the flexible. So Olaf, how much do you agree with this that application architecture should be a screaming one? Like when someone was your code, just folder structure, that should be a screaming. Like the application would be telling you what is this about. How do you think about it?
I like the idea of the, your solution in .NET being designed in such a way that you've got folders that talk about what your system, what kind of customer problems it solves. Okay. I think, for example, if you're working in an accounting system, it shouldn't be talking about MVC, or at least the artifacts you should be seeing shouldn't be about MVC or class library or console app as much as it's about books and lending and late fees and returns and the purchasing in of new books, whatever kind of goes into a library. When you look at a .NET solution like that, if we're talking about .NET, for example, then you should be seeing folders that talk about that. I mean, they're really, at the end of the day, there will still be the console apps, the class libraries, and that kind of artifact, but it should be more in the background. Normally, we don't do that so much. It's all about MVC, console app, class libraries, and screaming architectures of screaming what the system is really all about.
Exactly. So Olaf, do you think that if you have the customer and he pressurizes you to just build the frequent releases of the software, and the developers who are so overconfident that okay, no, go like follow this the bad architecture, the messy architecture, and we can the developers are not following the clean architecture, or they think that we can fix this later, and they just want to be champion and the fast forwarding in the market, and they're not going clean. Do you believe that if you're not going to the clean and you're stick to your messy architecture just to go fast, will isn't it related to the low productivity in the future?
That's an excellent question, Maria. So I see this often enough when I work with clients where there is some thinking that we can go faster when you and this is actually true. You can go faster initially. It's actually amazing how productive you can be, on the first few days and weeks and possibly even months when you um, don't